Good morning, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David Okon. I'm in the United Kingdom speaking about employment, which is part of work in the UK, employment, self-employment, and other aspects of working in the United Kingdom. I speak about this because work is fundamentally important to the life of every individual around the world. If you live in the United Kingdom, if you live abroad, it is important that you work. It is important that there are governments in your country, in countries including in Africa and other parts of the world where work is carried out under the law of employment. For example, governing work, and we have seen this. We have recorded previous videos, and when I say we, I say me, because you are watching, and a lot of support you have given subscribing to this YouTube channel, which you have been doing, and also sharing with family and friends, clicking liking, clicking notification bell. I'm so thankful for the support you have given. We are a small channel and we are happy to carry on, and also waiting for when we grow and do more. The more the merrier. So if you haven't subscribed, if you like it, if you like the videos, if you don't, subscribe anyway. Share with family and friends, because they are also help us. If you comment below, let me know what you think, whether you about this program, about this material. If you're in the UK, go to the government website, gov.uk, and look at information there, because you see, if you're outside the United Kingdom, it's still important to try to understand what's happening in the United Kingdom, because we are global societies. What happened in the UK is similar, in many ways also the same, with what is happening in your country in terms of employment law. To talk about employment law, I talk about income. I'm also thinking about the cost of living crisis, which happened as an incident across the globe, and is all the more reason why once event happening in one country affecting other countries. This is also mainly because of globalization, the global economic system, which I have explained consistently. I continue to explain this. There's something called sovereignty. We're talking about politics. We can talk about employment and then stop there, but we can also talk about politics, because especially if you're a young person, this is so important for you to understand how the politics work, and also policy. If you want money, if you want wealth, learn how to do business. But it doesn't mean you're going to be rich. You may get out of poverty, especially young people now. You have a lot of things to talk about young people, but I think young people should take responsibility for their lives. Adults can help young people or children, but increasingly we are becoming independent as individuals because of the nature of our society. So every bit of information is important, it's an opportunity. So if you have the time to learn one thing or another, give credit to yourself, and that is why I'm undertaking this exercise, because we need knowledge. With knowledge we can bring changes, positive or negative, hopefully positive changes. And if we are to succeed, we succeed because we work. If you are a young person, if you are an adult, if you want to be successful, you should work for yourself, for other people. That is the thinking. That is the value of work. You can do other things as well. If you have money or if you don't have money, you can help other people. Helping people is also good, because it means you understand the value of humanity. I've been speaking about this, stopping from time to time to reflect on life, because everything we do is valuable because of our lives. And if we are happy, then we are happy because we are peaceful. If we are peaceful, we are peaceful because we understand the value of humanity. I've been repeating these points. So going back to work in the United Kingdom, if you're in the UK, if you're abroad, paying attention, we talk about pay. If you work, you get paid. different ways. We talk about when you are sick, you are working and you get statutory sick pay. There is also a contractual payment method. The second method I talk about the law, which give rights and obligations to workers and also to employers. So there is something called qualifying day. Watch this video and the rest of the video is a continuation. Thank you so much. Stay tuned, continue watching. Qualifying day. We look what it is. If you work in a certain way, you qualify for statutory sick pay. If you don't work in a certain way, you don't qualify for statutory sick pay. If you work and your days qualify, they are called qualifying days. So even if you work only for a day or 2 days, even if you only work for a couple of hours, so that is a situation. If you work for a couple of hours, they are qualifying days. So we work for a few days each week, or different days each week. You will have to agree with your employer which days count as qualifying days. You may be working different days. You may be working a few days each week, maybe 1 or 2 days this week, and you may be working different days each week. There's a difference between working a few days each week and also working different days each week. Because you can work maybe on Monday and Tuesday. Those are a few days each week, but you can also work Monday and Tuesday. You're working the same days because as a pattern. This week, so days in a week, working days in a week differently, in different days, that will have implication whether you qualify with your days for statutory sick pay. So you work on Tuesday and Wednesday this week, and next week you work Thursday and Friday. You might not produce qualifying days. For purposes of statutory sick pay, stay tuned, continue watching. Leave a comment below, let me know what you think. I think this is interesting. It affects how long you have to be off before you start getting sick pay, as well as how much sick pay you get for each day you miss. So you do one thing, it affects you in one way or the other. The length of work, the length of days and weeks, and when you work and when you are off work, before you start getting sick pay. So we talk about sick pay depending how you work, as well as how much sick pay you get each day you miss work. So it can be difficult to work out the best option. So you might need to get a specialist help from the expert advice team. Leave a comment below if you think this is complex. All the more reason why you should think of getting help from professionals, lawyers. In the United Kingdom, lawyers who are licensed to practice as lawyers are either solicitors or barristers. And the expert team may be lawyers who are licensed to practice as lawyers, who might not be practicing as lawyers but as legal advisors. There are also legal advisors who have been trained and have a lot of experience, who may gain expertise, who may specialize in one thing or another. And specialization often is likely to produce expertise. And this form into teams in organization. But the problem with organization is to do with they don't have resources. Normally that is what they say. But the fact is that the government, the UK government, is not financing public organization, social organization well. Because a lot of these advice organizations are voluntary organizations who are not being funded properly. And if you have an MP, if you can gain access to your MP as an individual or as groups within families, community, I think we need to be politically aware. And if we are young, if we are adults, we are elderly, we need to be politically engaging. You can go and do demonstration if you want. That is your choice. But I would say, for my part, that the best, in my opinion, the best way is to organize into groups or political activists who do research, learn the key issues, and policy also the issues affecting communities, like employment issues, like support mechanisms within the advisory system, within the healthcare system, schools. If there is a problem with traffic on the road, somebody just blocks the road and start working, doing road work, but 5 days, 2 weeks later, they are still there. And nobody is doing any work. The roads are closed. The traffic is in chaos. People are suffering. There are local issues like the environmental issues like that, or even because if you have to go to work, you have to go to the hospital, you have to take kids to school, you can't because somebody decided to close down the roads in the name of road work, and nobody is visibly there to work. The road is closed. They come and close the road. These are privately subcontracted organizations who are working for the local authorities. If you are in the community, the best thing is to mobilize as political activists and try to do a research the way contracts are given by local authorities to private companies. Who closes the road? Who damages the road? They dig into the road pretending to be repairing roads, doing road work when they're probably they're just trying to get money of the government. They're not doing any work. Instead, they are actually damaging public roads, and yet there are potholes in other areas. The fragmented method of governing local authorities may be an issue, and I think it is. I think it's the kind of thing we need to look at. Put pressure on the government. Put pressure on your local leaders, politicians, like members of parliament. If you can, I mean, if not, then you have to start writing to ministers, maybe to the King of England. If you can get attention, if you cannot, I mean, if you come together, probably you will attract attention. You write to the BBC if they can listen to you. CNN, any of the media, you can use social media like I am using now. Because if you don't speak, there might be nobody speaking on your behalf because you have a voice. You have been given freedom of speech in a country like Britain. Utilize, make use of it. If you are not given freedom of speech, then do something else. Because to the extent that you are given freedom of speech, mobilize into groups and be strong, do research, have information, have evidence, and put pressure on the local authorities, on the national authorities, people who the government set to run these countries. I'm talking generally, but I'm talking about when you go to get help and you cannot get it within the charities, within the statutory bodies, in the council, or in the central government, in the civil service, wherever you go, there seems to be no funding. There's, the places are closing down. If you go to the DWP, it's chaos because of funding, funding failure. And the government, even the Labour Party, is now struggling because the Labour Party is under a lot of pressure to do reform also. It's a global problem. It's not just a British problem. It's not just European problem. It's not American. It's a problem everywhere created by capitalism. Capitalism creates wealth and gives wealth away to a few individuals who are super rich. So there's no money anywhere. Sooner or later, people will be sent into concentration camps, but there's no money also to run concentration camps. I don't know what is going to happen in the next generation. Maybe we will escape it. The people coming after us may face a totally different world, because the pace of change is also very fast. Technology is coming to take away work. We talk about work, but technology is taking work very quickly, and the government seems not to have any plan to address the problem of unemployment or future unemployment. Even now, there is more situation where you hardly get work because one person can do the work previously done by 1,000 people because of computer, because the machine is becoming intelligent. We become machine operators. When you are a researcher now, probably the machine does most of the work. Especially if we introduce artificial intelligence now, it's going to be doing all the work everywhere. You may not even see a human being. So are we going to provide for our own welfare? We still, artificial intelligence is not going to. We still need food. We need shelter. If artificial intelligence can produce enough food and energy, enough housing to be given freely, we don't need money. You go to the hospital, machine is there doing the work. Who wouldn't want that? We are good with that because we need, in the world, we need to access food, energy. We don't even need medicine because food is our medicine. Normally, herbs, the kind of food we eat is actually. The problem with the environment is that the environment is sick. The environment is contaminated. Maybe by our human behavior, maybe they just go wrong naturally. But there's a problem with nature. Nature is no longer perfect. Waters are contaminated. You see, fruits, vegetables are contaminated. Grains are contaminated. We don't know how. We don't know why. But we are getting sick by eating food, eating meat, eating even vegetables, because we don't know what is in the food. We don't know what is in the air, atmosphere, because so many things are being done in secret by the government. The government runs the world in any country. That's why we talk about the government. They may not want us to talk about them, but they are the rulers. They run the countries. They should take responsibilities. Thank you so much for watching this. So we're looking at the employment law, which is very complex, which in many ways you need specialist support, advice. But if the government do not fund this organization, how are you going to get help from them? You may not be able to get help from this government. So you can also still talk about qualifying days. Leave a comment below if you know anything about qualifying days in terms of statutory sick pay. It's a technical material which I like, which everybody likes. Is part of the excitement of life. Is good. So we'll talk about if there is no agreement on qualifying day. We talk about agreement. We talk about contract. Because when there is a statute written by the government, especially if it is written carefully, then it's a case of interpreting and the employer implementing statutory rights required by the government, because that is what a statutory framework provides. But if the government do not supervise private companies, especially private companies, then the laws are in vain. They are there and they are useless, because employers can ignore them, they can break the law as much as they can. Then we talk of the agreement on qualifying days. Leave it down below. If you have been in a situation, or whether you are, well, you have to agree on qualifying days, and if you know what qualifying days is, I've been explaining it over and over on this video and on the other videos. Stay tuned, continue watching. Thank you so much. So, talk about qualifying days. You are in a situation and you are with your employer and you are seeking to agree, but you cannot agree on which days count as qualifying days. You have days to be reorganized between you and your employer, and also the regulation says that the qualifying days should be one of the following. So stay tuned, continue watching. Thank you so much. So we'll look at regulation. We give guidance on what the qualifying days might or might not be, because you may say one thing about qualifying day and your employer may say another thing. So the statutory requirement, which is what regulation provide, maybe a guideline for contractual implementation or actually framing. The days you are required to work under your contract. If you are required to work under your contract, that is a feature of what may constitute qualifying day. You are being required by your employer to work. Those are the days you are required to work. And then, for example, Wednesday, if your contract doesn't specify a day or days, it could be Wednesday every day of the week, except those on which you and your employer agree that no employees are required to work. You may have to agree when to work, when not to work. Talk about Wednesday. Maybe Wednesday is important. If your contract doesn't specify a day or days, if it doesn't, then you talk about Wednesday. And when it is, then these are the indicators that there might or might be availability as to qualifying days. We can look at certain example where an employer agrees that only normal working days are qualifying days. We talk about normal working days. Leave a comment below if you know what normal is. Because maybe Monday to Friday. Talk about Mondays and Tuesdays, perhaps. If you are working on Mondays and Tuesdays, following an agreement between you and your employer, that Mondays and Tuesdays will be the qualifying days. This is straightforward and simple. You should do it with your eyes closed. If you are willing to really work, and therefore, if you fall ill, say on a Tuesday, or say on the 1st of November. And your sick pay won't start until Monday. Talk about Tuesday, 1st of November. Your sick pay will not start till Monday, the 14th of November. You talk about the relationship between Tuesday, the 1st of November, and the 14th of Monday. You talk about, look at Tuesday. So if you fall sick on Tuesday, say of November, you will get your sick pay will start on Monday, the 14th November. the straight language. It will start on Monday, the 14th. So do the maths. Leave a comment below, do the maths. This is because you have been waiting, your waiting days will be the Tuesday you fall ill and the next Monday and Tuesday. So it took something called waiting days, waiting for when you begin to count for sick pay. So you will get the full rate of certain sick pay, half the weekly rate for each Monday or Tuesday when you are sick, and or when you are also working week when you're working weeks is 2 days. So you work 2 days and that is counting as working week. And this can be interesting, can be complicated, or can be, this is hard to calculate it, hard to agree, you know, the modalities for doing these calculations. I mean, so our employer agrees that all weekdays are qualifying days. These are different scenarios. All days, which means maybe weekdays, all weekdays, excluding weekends, are qualifying days, which means Monday to Friday are qualifying days. So somebody who works Tuesdays and you know, Mondays and Tuesdays also are in this situation. So you could agree with your employer that all weekdays are qualifying days. So we talk about agreement between you and your employer. And so then you fall ill on Tuesday, 1st of November. Your sick pay will start on Friday, the 5th of November. So you talk about Tuesday, you also talk about Friday, the 5th of November. Your waiting days will be Tuesday to Thursday of that week. So you wait for your pay when you are unfortunately sick. So you will get the full rate of statutory sick pay. You will get 1/5 of the weekly rate for each weekday you are sick. Not just the days you normally work. Stay tuned, continue watching. So if you are in a situation of 0-hour contracts, we have been talking about 0-hour contracts. Leave a comment below if you know anything to do with 0-hour contract. It's a type of contract, because there are contracts and there are contracts. This one is called 0-hour contract, and you are on a 0-hour contract. You are relating your contractual statuses in relation to statutory sick pay. Statutory sick pay applies when you are sick and you need to be paid. And you're finding out if you can be paid. So you're entitled to sick pay if you're on a 0-hour contract and meet the normal conditions. Some conditions are abnormal. That's why there are conditions which are normal, there are others which are abnormal. You can work out your sick pay manually using guidelines on gov.uk. You can also get specialist help from the expert advice team, which is from Citizen Advice, for example, or a charity, the biggest charity in the United Kingdom. I've been mentioning them, public website, but you can go to them also. So you can identify qualifying days. We're talking about qualifying days again. So every day you work is a qualifying day, even if you only work for a couple of hours. some employers must say that you are not expected to come into work on any particular days. You don't have any qualifying days. What some employer will say, leave a comment below. Let me know if you have been through this situation. Because your employers might say, because you are not expected to come to work on any particular days, so you won't qualify. You won't have any qualifying days. You comment below. So the employer might refuse to pay statistic pay because of this. Because of, they are trying to read to understand how the law says. To argue against this, start by looking at when you have been at work recently. So you keep a record of your pattern of work. So if you can use the patterns in your shifts to show when your qualifying days should be. If you work Monday last week and Tuesday, perhaps last week, today again, then you form a pattern that is more likely to be your qualifying days. So patterns is extremely important and within shifts. So you should be really a diligent worker to keep your own record. You should be your own administrator, your own public HR, human resources, which is the department which deals with employees, who support employees. But sometimes, these are pro-employer. You could say, talk of adversity between employee and employer as a default. So you could give an example. If you are in a situation where you have worked on Tuesday and Thursday every week for the past 8 weeks. You talk about 8 weeks. 8 weeks is the magic week. You can comment below if you know why I don't. It is likely Tuesday and Thursday will be your qualifying days. So pay attention to 8 weeks if you're trying to see qualifying days, because the qualifying days in practice will determine in terms of technical requirements, the technical rights you may have. Qualifying days will determine whether or not you get paid. So there might be no official guideline. There is no official guideline on how far back to go when looking at recent patterns of work. That is what I was asking. You talk about the past 8 weeks, but there is no official guideline on how far back to go when looking at recent patterns of work. So you go as far back as possible, the more the merrier. It is your life, it's your pay, you're on your own. You might not be able to access a lawyer who are experts on this thing. They work this thing with their eyes closed. But we now need to develop the habit of becoming experts in our own right. If we face situations such as occur in a situation of employment, because you see, if employment is of essence to any individual, then you need to be an expert on an employment. If you use public transport or public roads, you potentially need to be an expert, because if somebody closes it down, you have to know your options. What are you going to do? What are your rights as a road user, as a citizen of this country or a resident of the United Kingdom? Somebody closing the roads, public roads, as an example of this, looking at employment. You cannot use public transport. You don't have a car. You cannot walk to work. You cannot walk if you are sick. for example, to hospital, because the road is closed and nobody takes responsibility for that. Nobody cares if you're sick. You may not be able to get an ambulance because they are out of resources. If you phone an ambulance now for their service, they will say they don't have ambulance because of funding. Therefore, going back to what I said previously, if you live in a modern society, you have to begin to develop some sense of political acumen, trying to understand the politics of society in terms of your life, in terms of what supports your life, the necessities you need. Maybe you are home, if you are being evicted because you didn't pay rent, what does it mean? What are you going to do? It may sound a very simple situation, but it can be so complicated for people who may not really know what to do. So they go to advisors who are not even there because they are not being funded by the government. You ask these organizations, they are really struggling with resources because they don't want to get into trouble by accusing the government of not funding them, because they can be shut down. The government has a lot of power. We may talk of rights, but the government has more rights. The government has absolute right because it is the government. And the government is so dangerous to people who oppose the government that it can crush you. That's why multimillionaires and multimillionaires are now very dangerous, because they can crush you. Actually, a multimillionaire and a multimillionaire can kill you as quick as he likes. He is the new ruler. He is the new government. You are, because of capitalism, we are concentrating wealth. Wealth and power in the hands of individuals. Somebody just like you. And they can really get drunk on power. And they are a system in their own right. They are so powerful. They can determine whether you're going to live or not. And this is a reality. Look at the list of multimillionaires and multimillionaires and try to figure out what kind of powers do they have. They can hire anybody to kill you at any time, in any way they want, because that is the power of money. You see, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. Because of our nature, I'm not really accusing multimillionaires or multimillionaires without accusing people who are poor, people who are ordinary, because we are humans. My accusation is against humans. It's against me, because I am also human. I can't accuse other humans without accusing myself. But we need to learn to tell the truth now. I have been talking about something called cultural economy. You look at this situation, the situation we are facing here, and you know that something is not working culturally because the law is there. I have said in the other videos that the law is a very brutal force. The law is a very dangerous element, but it's a necessary evil, because the law can oppress, and that's what it is there for, to oppress people who are wicked. And people who are culturally uneducated like we are actually wicked. And there's no peace for the wicked. It applies to everybody. A lot of people live in denial that they are good people. But if you are not culturally educated, then you are not a good person at all, because you have to provide evidence that you know your culture, you value your life, you value your humanity, you respect yourself, you respect other people. It's about respect. It's about valuing life. And that is all I'm trying to say. And in my opinion, and also in my observation, is that, you see, if we are human, then we are going to survive. If we descend into animals, and from there we descend into aliens, then we are no longer humans. We are done. Because if we are not human, that's the end of humanity. That means we are done. Maybe aliens will take over and begin to run the earth the way they want to, because humans will go extinct the moment we lose our humanity. Cultural education, cultural economy is so important, because if you have knowledge, you can start to bring change. Knowledge of culture bring cultural changes, from being wild animals into becoming humans. There are multimillionaires and multimillionaires sitting on wealth. The wealth is being weaponized because these people are so dangerous. They are worse probably than aliens. I have never seen an alien, but I have seen animals. They are worse than humans, because they can be savages. Animals can be savages. Some of the most dangerous creatures on earth are animals, especially wild animals. And we humans are now becoming like a wild animal. We don't care about people. We promote abortion. Abortion is a form of killing people. It's a form of murder without being murder, because the law has to define it as murder. In some cases, it's murder. But the idea that you can even think of abortion, killing a child, and you are a mother, and your defense is that you want freedom to have rights over your body. So if the point is, if I want to have right over my body, I should kill you, because you're killing another person. They may be in your womb, but they are individuals. They have rights. You see, that's why you're killing them without killing yourself, because if they were part of you, if you're a woman, you are carrying a child in your womb. If a child was part of you, if you try to kill it, you are going to kill. Speaking of which, abortion, because the mother is closely related to their child, in the process of killing the child, a mother can also die. I don't want anybody to die, because I care about people. See, I'm human. If you stop caring about people, if you're a woman, you find it necessary to kill a child, then you are no longer a human being, because you're killing another human being. You are a child at that. I mean, where is the love? There are politicians and political activists now campaigning for women to have rights over their body, and that means they can do abortion. I'm not talking about rape. Rape is a different thing, because rape is a product of disrespect. And society accuse men. It's as if rape as a concept, as a legal concept, is no longer gender specific. It used to be gender specific, which means only men commit rape against women, but women are now raping men. That is in the law. That's how the law defines rape now. It is wrong because we are wrong. The law doesn't. It just help temporarily. See, the law is there to manage a dangerous society, but culture is to heal. Is to provide the medicine for crime, for all the offenses being done, the moral, the legal, the social injustices, even being incompetent in different ways. Because once we begin to operate culturally, we become more efficient, because we are more organized, we are more positive, we are more peaceful, we are more happy. Nobody has to tell us to go to work, like the British government is trying to tell the British people, you must go to work because you're on benefit. That is evidence that we are paying culturally. You need the government to tell you that you should go to work. Everybody should go to work, and they should not ask to be paid. Because you see, you work, this is your country, you work for it. You don't get paid. Whatever you work is yours, you share it. That is what culture produces. I'm talking about work. Stay tuned, continue watching. Thank you so much. So, talk about qualifying.
Some see the original, mighty the god, the magical radical. Hey, representing my magical. Young Jose, come million. The make wacha, that lifta. Can I teach me can you make go papa? That wacha, can you damage me can you make which one you can do?
Come to the camera, there, it's a command, there, we are there for the bed. We have a day, you're my baby. Every day I call you, my door, you're my stranger. Baby, got no match, I know. If I be walking on you, but it's about some cola. Baby, got the match, baby, got your water. You must say, Bandada. You must say, Bandova, you must say, Bandada. Baby, got no tema, come a quagala. Motema, ganga, quagala. Motema, ganga, put it on my baby. When Motema, ganga, and I call you my lover. Baby, got no chawa, no. Then watch it, baby, got no chawa.
So talk about work, talk about culture. You don't get paid. It's not slavery. It's not slavery, because slavery is a legal concept. Okay, and it is legal in the sense that because of evil, the law is to manage evil so that it doesn't get out of control. But the law is now failing because there are people who are so powerful they are above the law, and they kill with impunity, and you don't even know they have committed murder because they are complicated network of assassins. Presidential candidate Donald Trump in America was attemptedly assassinated. He could have died. I don't want Donald Trump to die. I don't like him. I am supposed to like him, but I think he's a very bad person. But then again, you know, he is human. I am supposed to care about him. Culturally, I'm supposed to. Donald Trump should be my brother. Maybe I'm black, maybe I'm from Africa, but if we are culturally educated, then it doesn't matter if you're black and white, if you are male or female, if you are a child or adult, if you are in the womb and born, there's no difference. If you are an elderly person and you are supposed to be killed, there's something called mercy killing. The government is now listening to campaigners to give them rights. There are people who believe they should have the right to kill themselves. Hello? You are trying to kill yourself because you are culturally bankrupt. You are a stupid person. You need to go to school because see, your child is there, your friend are there, you're strangers. Humans call themselves strangers. It's cultural failure. Nobody is a stranger. Nobody is an enemy. Humans should not be enemies with humans. That is evidence of cultural failure. Cultural education is needed to heal the world, to heal life, to bring peace, to bring happiness. Without culture, we are done. We are done. And we are looking at employment. We are looking at statutory sick pay. Leave a comment below. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe to support it. As always, the best way to support a channel, a YouTube channel, is to subscribe to the channel. So we'll talk about guidelines from the government. We'll talk about official guidelines. Official means government. The government hasn't it set the law, but it doesn't provide it guidelines on how far back to go when looking at recent patterns of work. Looking at recent patterns of work produces evidence for qualifying days. Because with qualifying days, you can then get a statutory sick pay. You can be qualified to get statutory sick pay. We have talked, this is a continuation, to watch the other video and this one and let me know your thoughts. You like the program, say you like it, click like. If you don't like it, click like as well, because that is a nice thing to do. However, you can click dislike, because though, let us be fair on social media. Let us be fair on YouTube platform. People are so friendly that I've been operating now close to 2 years. I've never seen anybody clicking dislike, because you can click dislike. You don't like something, you click it. They are really nice. I'm sure there are people who don't like my material, but they have been very nice. And thank you so much for that. And that's something you have to know. It's very human of you to really, be nice. It's very human to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because the subscription is free and it takes seconds. It doesn't cost you much. it's a case of doing it. Yeah, you cannot watch it because you don't have the time. I can understand that, but if you don't subscribe and you see this video, you don't subscribe, then you are very inhumane. You need to learn your culture and become a human being so that you can help your friends. You can help your neighbors if they need your help. Stop being selfish, in other words, because I'm saying you, I'm talking about me. Because I am human also. There are things I'm supposed to do to help other people. I don't. Because I fall asleep. I forget that I'm a human being. But you see, the problem with us is that I start helping somebody. They come back for more. I'll give you maybe some money today. Say, okay, have a drink. Then tomorrow you're going to come back to me again. I know I don't have any money. And you, what do you mean you don't have money? Last week you gave me money. This change what is really an act of friendship to be their rights. I don't know where they get that idea. And if you don't give them, they get upset. You give them, they don't give you anything. I can give everything I have, and nobody will give me anything in return. Or I can get things from people all the time. I'm asking, I have a friend, my neighbor. I've known this guy all my life. I don't have a car at the moment, so sometimes if I feel I am in need, I need to buy things. I phone him and make arrangements because I am insured to drive his car. We agreed on that basis, and he helps me. But sometimes I stop to think. I keep asking for my neighbor's car all the time. You see, if you keep asking for things from people all the time, they're going to get fed up because they're humans. Yeah, their level of tolerance is measurable. You have to be really careful. People can be nice to you, but if you keep going back, somebody gives me money today, tomorrow I'll have to go back and get more money, thinking they are some type of a bank. And like me, on social media, maybe 100 people ask for money every day. Where am I going to get the money from? And somebody, please give me some money. Please give me some money. Please give me. I know they have needs. But you see, 100 people are asking for £10. That is £1,000. If I work full time, my average earning in the United Kingdom is 2,000 after tax. I have to pay half of that for my bills. I have to save some money. I have to really, where will I get the money to give to people I don't even know? Because social media, these people are friends, but you don't really know them. They could be thieves also. Because that's the problem with social media. You think you know somebody. Somebody may come to you and say they are pensioners, they are suffering. They may be 15 years. And you're giving money. I'm helping a pensioner because your culture teaches us to help elderly people, to help pensioners. Pensioners, you're giving money to a thug, somebody who is a thief, who is brought on the street, but they have access to maybe Facebook, maybe TikTok. So social media is a place where we really express who we are as humans, as culturalists or as anti-culturalists. I like this idea of culture. And leave a comment below if you like the idea of culture and give your idea. I mean, if you're busy, you're busy. Because our channel is really small. And if you're not talking to me, that's fine, because we are a small channel. A lot of people, people don't like small things. They go to big places because it's more interesting. Big places are more interesting. So for me, it's a case of being patient. Maybe one or the other, one day I will grow because I've been exponentially growing. Every time I post a video, people watch it. I grow, people subscribe, I grow. So I'm also unsubscribe, but more subscribing. Because the more you subscribe, the more I grow. The more you watch my video, the more I grow. So I will grow and grow and grow. And it may take long, but the more the merrier, the bigger the better. So now, we are talking about work. We must work, because work is the source of success. You succeed when you work. I'm so happy that people take it upon themselves. But look at qualifying days as a concept. So you are someone in a situation where your employer cannot agree which days count as qualifying days. Every day of the working week will be qualifying day. You work today, you work tomorrow, qualifying day. Potentially or in reality. This means every day of the week apart from days when no employee does any work. For example, if the workplace is closed on Sundays. So every day is a qualifying day. As long as you are scheduled to work, if there's a program of work in your place of work, then every day is a qualifying day. If you work on that, you have a qualifying day. That is a strong argument, but it's always a caveat. We talk about 0-hour contract. Under these circumstances, I don't like 0-hour contracts at all. Because it may look good on paper, you know, employers may persuade you, but it's one of the worst things employers and their governments are invented is a 0-hour contract. It's a terrible thing. It's a horrible thing. And the Labour Party just came to power. I think one of the first things to get rid of this 0-hour contract is evil. Is proof of cultural failure in employment. You look at the law. If you live in the UK, people think it is flexible hours. I mean, why would work be flexible? If you work, you work. If your employer is educated, well educated, if they know what they are talking about, then if you are sick, go home and go to. I think statutory sick pay should be removed, because it's totally problem creating. If you are sick from work, the government should pay you straight away on day one. You leave work today because you are sick, even if you will leave for only 1 week. The employer shouldn't pay people who don't work for a living. Simple as that. Especially if you're a small and medium business. So also big businesses. At least big businesses can pay because they have money. This problem affects small and medium businesses. The government should change the law. Should scrap sick pay. Maternity pay should be scrapped immediately. All this nonsense should be scrapped. The Department of Work and Pension should pay benefit. You don't need sick pay. You just have to raise the level of benefit up. If you don't work, whether you are sick, whether you are, just provide evidence that you don't work. Let your employer write to the Department of Work and Pension. You don't even need. See, there should be resources at the Department of Work and Pension where a work coach or an advisor, an administrator, or a worker from the Department of Work and Pension phone your employer. You just have to bring your telephone number or email address to your work coach at the Department of Work and Pension. All you have to do is give it to them. They phone your employer to confirm that you are not lying. And if you are in a good mood, they should also be given the discretion to, because they have to give you respect if you are respectable. A lot of people are not respectable because they lie, but you see, all these are important, but the most important thing is to raise the level of benefit up in an equivalence to equate with the national minimum wage, which should raise to at least £20,000 per month per annum after tax. And obviously, the level of benefit, which should be, if it is income support, if it is universal credit, should be one to pay rent, to pay council tax, to pay other bills. One benefit. Whether you are a child, whether you are an adult, whether you are a pensioner. One benefit. Because, I mean, if you are a child, why should you get less money? I mean, only the government can really think that like that, because they are so poorly educated to understand how human life operates. I don't know why these people are too educated in the scientific sense. I mean, in terms of development, they just look at economics. They don't look at the social function. It's like, you know, children. I mean, children cost a lot of money to parent. They should get. I mean, if you have a child, just imagine if you don't work, you get, whether you have a child, whether you have a home or not, you should get £20,000 per annum. Because with that money, you can start renting. If you're homeless, some people are really homeless because they don't have money, and you can't get benefit if you don't have an address. That should stop immediately. If you have any form of ID that you are who you say you are, you should get benefit, and you should be given maybe 1 week. The local authority should be giving you a house. You see, if you are homeless, you go to the council, they give you a house straight away, or they take you to a temporary accommodation straight away. And that's how it used to be. But because wizards and witches are flooding the government now, they're terrorizing Britain. If you visit government department, you see terrorists there. They are no longer humans. I talk about culture. Unless we do something about our culture, we are going to end up with terrorists on the street. The police will turn into monsters. Bus drivers will be aliens. People working in shop will be monkeys or dogs or cats. It is so easy, and it is happening now, to lose our humanity. People behave like barbarians on the street, stoning people on the street, killing people. It has been happening in the UK here that, you know, some people do not want to foreigners. You kill a human being, you are an animal. You don't deserve to go to jail. You should be actually burned alive. The government should turn into a monster to deal with monsters. I mean, you don't deserve to live. To even waste taxpayers' money being taken into prison, you should be killed and buried. You should not even be buried. You should be cremated. The cheapest form of energy should be used to destroy you. I mean, there are people who don't deserve to live. I mean, the law is really not working very well. I say this in all honesty, because the way certain people behave. Although I risk eating my own words, because if the law becomes draconian, then I could be a victim of the law, because I can do stupid things. I can kill a person. That would be like it happened in America. You can just so we produce a vicious cycle. What we need to do, we have to work with what we have got now, but we need to remember that we need to change the way we provide education, how we design education to include the cultural component, because that is 50% of our existence is being neglected, and we want peace. Well, we are succeeding as developmentalists. We need to be culturalists. I've been saying this. I'm waiting for a time when we grow as a channel. People will be asking me questions. I don't know if I can answer it, because there will be so many people. What do you mean by culture? Respect. Respect. Children, adults, respect. Balu. We are our brothers, our sisters, keepers. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in the next episode of our video. Stay tuned. The next time, you can now go and raise, you can now subscribe, you can now click like, you can now click notification bell, you can now click leave a comment, watching a video. Also, you're going to give sharing with family and friends. Thank you very much. See you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good morning.